filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walk a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, apply myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I am your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back for another episode. Had a really good weekend this weekend in CBB. Had some really good picks for y'all. But before I get into the docket today, I got 4 games on the docket. Before I get into them, I like to ask you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. It helps my channel, helps the network grow. My channel, Carl Talking College, via the Refuse to Lose network. We got other channels and other shows for other sporting needs like BWT, Baseball with Teddy, who's actually going live later tonight around 9:45, 10 o'clock. I will be on the show, which is giving baseball predictions for the upcoming season. We have FFC, which stay tuned. There's no fantasy football right now, which is fantasy football with Coach. But he will have an episode coming soon. Just wait on it. We got the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave, who went live earlier. They were giving ceilings and floors for a couple teams in the NBA. You got Real Ballers only featuring Vaughn, who just did mid-season grades. I believe he's going live tomorrow to do another mid-season grade. So it's done to look out for that. That's featuring Vaughn. We got Dave's Doghouse, who's going live tomorrow, where he makes dogs and put dogs in the doghouse. Kings Talk with Joe Jordan. He just went live super early this morning to discuss the Kings Heat game that happened last night. And last but certainly not least, we got In the Red Corner featuring Ty, Ricky, and Fast Camp, where they just went live Sunday to go over some things that's going on in boxing. They mainly talk boxing, so for all your boxing needs, go to In the Red Corner. But like I said, man, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the network. It helps the channel grow. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now, give me 1 second. I gotta close my door so y'all don't hear the little beat. Oh, actually, already closed. Ooh, my apologies. Thought it wasn't closed. It's already closed. Cool. So, all right. We oh no, we gotta talk about the polls. That's right. I didn't go live yesterday, so I have to talk about the polls. So let's go down to these banners. Let's bring up the polls, and we got something to celebrate. We got something to celebrate with CTC. I know I've been asking for 2 weeks, but it finally happened. South Florida is ranked. It took them 13 straight wins, but South Florida finally is ranked. So shout out to South Florida. I've been asking for 2 weeks now. I was definitely asking and surprised it didn't happen last week. Thought South Florida was robbed last week because they still had to play perfect, even though they played perfect, not perfect, but played great basketball for 11 straight games. Have not lost since early January. But yeah, they finally ranked 25th in the country. I thought they should be above Florida. Florida took an L to not to LSU. They took an L to Alabama. Took an L to Alabama, but Alabama's a good team, so I can see why they didn't drop them in the rankings as well. So if you want them above them like I did, cool. If you didn't, if you're like, they don't deserve to, I see it too, because Alabama's a really good ranked team. So I'm with you either way. But we have to talk about the entirety of the polls, and we have a new number 1. UConn drops from 1 to 3. They dropped from 1 to 3 after losing to Creighton on Tuesday. Again, court storming, by the way. We didn't complain that day. Anyway, Houston is now number 1, sitting at 24-3, solid record. Number 1 in the Big 12, which shout out to Kelvin Sampson, man. Kelvin Sampson is one of the elite coaches in college basketball. everybody said, oh, he was not everybody, but a lot of people like, oh, he's really talented, but he's in the American Conference. And one in American, that's cool, but that's nothing to brag about. Now he in the Big 12. To me, the best conference in college basketball. And guess who's at number 1 in the Big 12? Kelvin Sampson and the University of Houston Cougars. So shout out to Kelvin Sampson, number 1 in the country. Shout out to him. Number 2, Purdue. They move up from 3 to 2. Number 3, UConn. They move down from 1 to 3. Tennessee move up from 5 to 4. Marquette moves up from 7 to 5, which, I mean, man, they be fighting hard to have Marquette in that top 5. I like Marquette. I love Tyler Kolek as much as the next man, but Marquette does seem to get a big push. Arizona moves from 4 to 6 after losing to Washington State. Kansas moves from 9 to 7. Iowa State drops from 6 to 8. Which I don't even remember Iowa State losing. Oh, they lost to Houston. That's right. That was Monday. They did lose to Houston last Monday. Okay, cool. So, I mean, not a bad loss. Houston at home. It was a tough game. UNC moves up from 10 to 9 after beating Virginia. Duke moves from 8 to 10 after losing to Wake Forest. Auburn moves up from 14 to 11. Creighton moves up from 15 to 12 after that huge win against UConn. Illinois moves down from 12 to 13 after blowing that game to Penn State. Alabama moves down from 13 to 14 after allowing 117 by Kentucky. Baylor moves down from 11 to 15. They lost to Houston in overtime Saturday. And they lost to BYU on Tuesday. So lost 2 straight, but they did get a win yesterday. They did beat TCU, got their revenge on TCU's floor. 16 is Kentucky, moving up from 17 to 16. St. Mary's moves up from 18 to 17. St. Mary's is one I feel like they should be higher. I understand they're mid-major, WCC. I think St. Mary's should be higher. South Carolina moves up from 20 to 18 after beating Ole Miss, blowing them out on their home floor, getting rid of that little 2-game slide. Washington State actually moves up from 21 to 19 after beating Arizona and losing to Arizona State. That one was shocking in my opinion. I guess the Arizona win highly outranks the Arizona State loss, and they lost Arizona State at home, so whatever. San Diego State moves down from 19 to 20. They did lose to Utah State on Utah State's floor. They do have a game tonight against San Jose State. Dayton moves down from 16 to 21 after losing to George Mason on George Mason's floor again. Just can't beat Virginia teams on the road, apparently. They lost to Richmond, lost to George Mason, they lost to VCU, all Virginia schools. Utah State moves up from unranked to 22nd in the country, beating San Diego State. They have a game tonight. They do play Fresno State. But it's weird, though. No, I'm lying. They had one game last week. Gonzaga moves up from unranked to 23rd. Not gonna lie here. Don't know how to feel about this. I understand y'all want Gonzaga. Y'all love Gonzaga. Y'all love Mark Few. Y'all love what Mark Few has built at Gonzaga, dominating the WCC. Cool. Don't know if I agree with Gonzaga being ranked this year. Gonzaga, yeah, they beat Santa Clara. They beat Portland, Pacific, LMU, and Kentucky. They have won 6 straight, including the Kentucky win. But when they played St. Mary's, took an L on their home floor. And again, I just don't think this Gonzaga team is that good. I mean, you can say maybe they're ranked because this year in college basketball is a lot of parity. I don't know if I agree with that, but 20. I don't know if I agree with Gonzaga being ranked at all. But anyway, Florida moves. I mean, they stay at 24. Like I said, they took an L to Alabama, but I want to say they beat Vandy. Yeah, they beat Vandy. And they also play tomorrow against Mizzou. And 25th. Shout out to Coach Raheem Abdul. I know I'm screwing his name, and I think that was a former player too, and I'm so sorry. But shout out to him. First in American, already is going to win a share of the American. Just have to beat Charlotte on Saturday to outright win the American. Went undefeated in February. Went 14-1 between January and February. South Florida is ranked at 25th, coming in unranked. Shout out to them. South Florida, in my opinion, should be above Florida and Gonzaga. You want to say Utah State? I would even agree with that. I would even agree with Dayton. Like, South Florida came in and jumped to 21st. I wouldn't even be mad at it. But, hey, they're 25th. So, that's all I have for y'all for Poll Talk. Now, a team that I feel could be ranked, Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a team that could be ranked this week. I think Wake Forest should be ranked. Wake Forest is playing really good basketball. If you throw Gonzaga in there, I think you got to throw Wake Forest in there. Now, Gonzaga is probably going to be tough to get out because of the remaining schedule. I think their last game is St. Mary's, but before that, it's not really tough. Wake Forest does, I think they play tomorrow. No, they play tonight. Wake Forest plays tonight. They played Notre Dame. That's who it is. So Notre Dame, I think they got, do they have UNC? No, they already play UNC. It's not UNC. They play Virginia Tech Saturday. Win those two, I think they should be ranked. If they beat Notre Dame, beat Virginia Tech, and they should be ranked. Virginia Tech is on the road. I believe Notre Dame is even on the road. Notre Dame is both on the road, both road games. So I understand what you're saying, Carl. Notre Dame is definitely not a good team this year. You're right. Virginia Tech, they're a pretty good team. They're really good at home, though. So I think they win them. Let's just say if Florida takes an L. Let's just say Gonzaga takes an L, which I don't really see happening. Let's see Gonzaga's next to Gonzaga playing. Take that back. San Francisco is not an easy game for Gonzaga at all Thursday. That's going to be a really good one. Gonzaga can take that L to San Francisco. Let's say Gonzaga takes the L to San Francisco. Wake Forest, just those two dubs. Gonzaga either takes the L to San Francisco or St. Mary's. Wake Forest deserves to be ranked. So that's who I think should be ranked next week. Wake Forest. I got Washington State. Finally got South Florida. I'm hoping Wake Forest is next in line of teams that I think should be ranked, that will be ranked. But that's all I got for y'all on Poll Talk. Now, let's go into the games I got for today. So the games I got for today, we're going to start with Kentucky at Mississippi State, a big game in the SEC for seeding. You know, SEC tournament coming up in 2 weeks. Tournament's coming up in 2-3 weeks. Double buys, playing first day. All that is on the line now. So, Kentucky. 16th ranked Kentucky's at Mississippi State. 16th ranked Kentucky is underdogs in this one. 7 o'clock on ESPN. Kentucky is led by Antonio Reeves, 19.9 points per game, 4.2 rebounds per game. Rob Dillingham, 15 points per game, 3.8 assists per game, and 1.2 steals per game off the bench. And DJ Wagner, 10.2 points per game, 3.4 assists per game. Now, Trey Mitchell isn't up here because he's still questionable with his shoulder. I don't know if he's playing. I looked it up. It just had a status for Saturday. So that kind of led me to believe that he's off the injury report, but his name was still there. So I didn't know what to make of it. So just to be safe, I left him there and said he's questionable with his shoulder. Now, the X factor in this game is going to be Ugonna on Yenso. And it's because it's his defense on Tolu Smith, who to me is the best player on Mississippi State. His defense is going to be key. If he can hold Tolu Smith down low, if he can contain him or try to contain him, I think that'll go big for Kentucky, who can score from anywhere. Kentucky can score threes, twos. They just want to get out and run. Kentucky is first in three-point percentage now, 41%, and third in scoring offense, 88.7 points per game. They're 19-8, 9-5 in the SEC, and they're coming off the 117-95 win against Bama, and they won 3 of their last 5. Now, Mississippi State, they're led by Tolu Smith, 16.8 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game. Played the last 2 games coming off the bench, but he's normally a starter. Josh Herbert, 15.3 points per game. Cam Matthews, 9.6 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 2.1 steals per game. X factor in this one's going to be Shaquille Moore. He has to provide scoring so they can keep up with Kentucky. We all know Kentucky can explode offensively. Mississippi State is going to have to be able to match that. It's tough to stop this Kentucky team from scoring. The way to beat this team is to, it's going to sound elementary because basketball, you got to score more points, but you literally have to keep pace and keep scoring with them. But yeah, they're 61st in scoring defense, allowing 67.5 points per game. They're 29th in field goal percentage defense, allowing teams to shoot 40.6% from the floor. So it's a battle of offense versus defense tonight. And in that battle, Mississippi State is 19-8, 8-6 in conference play, so a game behind Kentucky. They're winners of 5 straight, though. They won 5 straight, and they're 6-1 in SEC play at home. But give me, I just realized this was not showing the whole time. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats to quote-unquote upset Mississippi State. It's an upset via the books. To quote-unquote upset Mississippi State. I understand in matchups where it's offense versus defense, it's like whoever one breaks. But we've seen that this Kentucky offense is going to show night in and night out. It's tough to stop Rob Dillingham. It's tough to stop Reed Shepard. It's tough to stop Antonio Reeves. It's tough to stop all these guys. So Mississippi State's going to have to do their best to try to keep pace and score with Kentucky, which I don't know if they can do that. Now, I get Kentucky defense isn't the greatest. No, it is not. But they try to get active. They try to force turnovers to get in open court to run. They try to push the ball. I don't know if Mississippi State wants to play like that. Give me Kentucky to win the game. Next game I got for y'all. Pitt at Clemson, 7 o'clock, ACC Network. This is, again, another game dealing with seeding for the conference tournament coming up, the ACC tournament, which actually the ACC tournament is in D.C. So if I decide I want to go to a game, I could do that. It's not that far from me. So that game, 7 o'clock on ACC Network. Pitt is led by Blake Hinton, who's been going crazy lately. 18.9 points per game, 5 rebounds per game. Carlton Carrington, the freshman, 12.7 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, and 4.2 assists per game. Ishmael Leggett, 12.2 points per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, and 1.2 steals per game. Their X factor is going to be Federico, the big fella. And it's because, again, defense. His defense on P.J. Hall will be vital. If they can play good defense on P.J. Hall, keep him off the glass, keep him around the perimeter, not let him get on the spots, it'll go huge for Pitt. Pitt is tied 139th in scoring offense, 75.1 points per game, and then 53rd in scoring defense, 67.1 points per game per allowed. They're 18-9, 9-7 in the ACC, and they won 4 of their last 5. Now Clemson is led by P.J. Hall, 18.7 points per game, 6.9 rebounds per game, and 1.7 blocks per game. Now, I know what I just said about P.J. Hall, keep him around the perimeter. P.J. Hall, yes, he can shoot. I know that. But you would rather P.J. Hall shoot perimeter shots than go crazy in the paint. You don't want him to get in the paint, start getting his rhythm in the paint, because then that opens up that perimeter game. You don't want him to go. You don't want him to work inside out. Joe Girard, 15.8 points per game, and Chase Hunter, 12.5 points per game. The X factor in this one, in my opinion, is going to be Ian Shefflin, the active big fella. He's going to have to create second chance opportunities for Clemson. Get on the boards, just do the little things he already do, the dirty work. Ian Shefflin is the dirty work big man in Clemson, and he has to continue to do that. Clemson is 59th in scoring offense, 78.7 points per game, and 51st in field goal percentage, 47.1 shooting 47.1% from the floor. They're 19-8, 9-7 also in the ACC, and they also won 4 of their last 5, and they're also 10-4 at home. Now, this is another game, in my opinion, where it's offense versus defense. But I think Pitt offense isn't as bad as 139th will indicate. It's 351 schools in D1 basketball. 75.1 points per game is still a good amount of points. Mix it in with some defense. Give me Pitt to win the game outright on the road. Pitt already upset with Virginia on the road. I think Pitt can get at these guards offensively, just like these guards can get at Pitt offensively. I think Clemson is talented in the backcourt, especially. Joe Girard and Chase Hunter is one of my favorite backcourts in the ACC. But I think Pitt is just on a roll lately. I think Pitt wins this game outright. And I think Pitt gets in front of Clemson as far as the standings in the ACC. Clemson is a really good basketball team. P.J. Hall and those guys as well. But I think Pitt also they can affect them with their length as well. You got the Guillermo twin. The Diaz twin. He's tall, he's lengthy coming off the bench. So give me Pitt. Next, I have Loyola Chicago at St. Bonner. Loyola Chicago is tied for first in the A10. Shout out Drew Valentine. They're 12-2 in A10 play. They're tied with Richmond, who's also 12-2 in A10 play. Loyola Chicago at St. Bonner, 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. So if you have the ESPN subscription, catch it on ESPN Plus. Loyola Chicago is led by Philip Austin, 12.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, and Desmond Watson, 12.9 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, and Dame Adelicone, 9.3 points per game, 4.1 rebounds per game, and that's coming off the bench. The X factor in this is going to be Braden Norris, in my opinion, and it's facilitating the ball to get good looks. As you can see later, this is going to be a defense versus defense game, battle of defenses. And I think Braden Norris is going to be huge and getting great looks for his teammates. 56 in scoring defense, 67.2 points per game allowed. 11th in field goal percentage defense, allowing teams to shoot 39.6% from the floor. They're currently 20-7 overall, 12-2 in A10 play, winning 7 straight. While St. Bonner is led by Chad Venning, 14.3 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 1.8 blocks per game. Micah Adams-Woods averaging 13.3 points per game, 3.7 assists per game, and 1 steal per game. And Charles Pride, the transfer from Bryant, averaging 11.6 points per game, 6.1 rebounds per game, and 1.2 steals per game. X factors, Daryl Banks, who's the transfer from St. Peter's. And it's because they need his scoring off the bench if he's coming off the bench. They're 65th in scoring defense allowed, 67.6 points per game. So only 0.4 difference, but you would look, it's like a 9th or 9th difference, however you want to pronounce that or say it. But it's only 0.4 points off, so another good defensive team. But they're 211th in field goal percentage defense, allowing teams to shoot 44.2% from the field. So St. Bonner's 17-10, 8-7 in the A10 play, 10-3 at home, and they won 3 of their last 5. But I'm going with Loyola Chicago to extend the win streak, coming off a huge win against George Mason, won by like 21. They can score the ball. They play really good defense. This reminds me of that 2018, 2017 Loyola Chicago team, led by Cam Kerwig and I'm blanking on bruh's name. It's Marcus something, I think. I'm blanking on the name, but y'all know the Loyola Chicago team I'm talking about that went to the tournament, made a little run. This team kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Now, like I said, it's going to be a battle of defenses, but I think Loyola is the better offense. And as y'all can see, there's a huge difference in how many the percentage they allow teams to shoot. So give me Loyola Chicago to win and keep pace with Richmond in the A10. My last game I have for y'all, Nevada at Colorado State, 10:30 on Fox Sports 1. So if you're up late, need some college basketball to watch, Mountain West is always there for you. Nevada's trying to keep pace with Utah State, San Diego State, UNLV, teams like that that's up top of the Mountain West, while Colorado State is trying to battle back to get better seeding for this Mountain West Conference tournament. Now, Nevada's led by Jerry Lucas, 17.2 points per game. Keenan Blackshear, 15.2 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 4.9 assists per game with 1.4 steals per game. And Nick Davidson, 12.6 points per game and 7.3 rebounds per game. The X factor in this game is going to be Trey Coleman, in my opinion. He has to score. It's tough to score in this Colorado State team, and he's going to have to help Nevada score some points. They are tied 94th in scoring offense, 76.5 points per game, while 37th in scoring defense, allowing 66.3 points per game. Nevada is 22-6, 9 of 5 in the Mountain West, and they've won 3 straight in the Mountain West. While Colorado State is led by Isaiah Stevens, 16.4 points per game, 7.4 assists per game, and 1.3 steals per game. Nick Clifford, 12.5 points per game, 7.2 rebounds per game, and 1.4 steals per game. Joel Scott, 12.1 points per game and 6.1 rebounds per game. X factor in this one, in my opinion, is going to be Josiah Strong. He has to score. His scoring will be vital. It takes the pressure off Isaiah Stevens, takes the pressure off Nick Clifford, it takes the pressure off Patrick Cartier. He has to provide some scoring at that guard position. They're 70th in scoring defense, 67.8 points per game allowed. They're 85th in scoring offense, but they're scoring 76.9 points per game. So, again, that's good enough. Now, Colorado State is 20-8, 8-7 in the Mountain West. They're undefeated at home in the Mountain West, 14-1 overall at home. That one home loss was to St. Mary's. So, undefeated at home in the Mountain West. And with that being said, I'm going to take Colorado State to win this game. Again, Colorado State being undefeated at home is huge in this for this one. They're seeking revenge. They lost by 13 at Nevada. But home court in the Mountain West is real. I think that's going to be a big factor in this one. I think Isaiah Stevens, he senses the urgency of his team needing wins, playing at home. But they're definitely fighting for a tournament bid. So give me Colorado State to win this one. Now, I didn't went through all the games. I just want to go over some quick news in college basketball. So, as y'all know, my Michigan State Spartans did lose to Ohio State off a game-winning 3 by Dale Bonner at the buzzer. Well, with 0.2 seconds left, so technically at the buzzer, whatever. Huge loss. Drops us in bracketology, seeding-wise. MSU now is, I think, we're hemorrhaging to stay in tournament contention. Got a big game Saturday against Purdue. Normally do not play well against Purdue, especially in Mackey Arena. Got to win at least 2 of our last 3 games to be safely in the tournament. UMass is now going to be in the MAC comes 2025 to 2026 season. Now I see a lot of basketball purists upset about UMass leaving the A10. I, for one, I'm not upset. I do think it's different. I'm not upset though. And a lot of people are saying, well, you're prioritizing this terrible football program over the basketball program who's been more consistent. Well, if we're being serious, UMass was not that great last year. UMass hasn't been a powerhouse in basketball. UMass isn't. I don't even remember the last time UMass won the A10. Let's look that up real quick. Last time UMass won the A10. I get it. UMass has been I don't want to say a cornerstone of the A10, but they've been a part of the A10 for a long time. But it's getting to that time where football teams being independent is not so much of a plus. It's not an advantage. Notre Dame, I would assume Notre Dame's stay independent, but I think Notre Dame needs to join the conference. Like, they really need to join the conference. The last time that they won the A10, the regular season, was 2007. Last time they won the A10 conference tournament was 1996. So, and the last time they made a tournament appearance was 2014. So UMass ain't been the greatest in the A10 by far. They have not. I'm sorry. The football team needed to join a conference. Now, if you want to say it's because the MAC has all Midwest schools and they're so far apart from the MAC, and it just doesn't make geographical sense, then fine, I can agree with that. But to say, oh, it's because why they prioritizing this football program over this basketball school? First of all, football is king. We all know that in America. Football is king. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. Football is king. If you're going to prioritize one thing over the other, they're always picking football over basketball. Football brings in more money. Football brings in more viewers. America just love football. No other way to put it. Football is king. So football is always going to be the priority over basketball. So I get it for the basketball purists. It's going to be different. I tweeted when I saw it. UMass and the MAC is going to be different. It is. It's going to take getting used to, but I know why UMass did it. UMass football, they had to join the conference. It might be better for recruiting. It might be better for the football program. Heck, it might even work out better for the basketball team. You never know. So that's news there. Other news, Kyle Flukowski, they didn't do any imaging on his knee. Weird, by the way. He goes to D1. He goes to Duke. They for sure would send him to do x-rays. That's kind of weird, but he's questionable for tomorrow against Louisville. He probably won't play against Louisville because Louisville is so bad. They'll probably just sit him. But, yeah, I think they're what's the word I'm looking for? I think they're I had the word on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. Milking it. I think they're milking this court storming thing. I really do. But that's really all I got for y'all today. That's all I got for y'all. Enjoy college basketball tonight. We got some games dealing with seeding and conference tournaments. We got conference tournaments starting next week. WCC should start next week. I know, not SoCon, but I can't remember the conference Morehead State is in. They should start. I think SoCon do start next week. I think SoCon start next week. I think a lot of the mid-majors start this next week. And then after the mid-major tournaments, it should be power schools, power conferences, tournament weeks. And then we got Selection Sunday. So we're almost there to Selection Sunday. We're almost there for our brackets. So enjoy college basketball. Enjoy the last few weeks of the regular season. And then we'll turn up for March Madness. But that's all I got for y'all until the next time. Probably tomorrow. Maybe Thursday. I don't know. I will announce it. Oh, while I'm talking about when I might go live, follow my Twitter. Carl Talking NCAA. Carl Talking College is too many characteristics. Carl Talking NCAA will suffice. So follow my Twitter. I give updates on like games, results, when I'm going live, if I'm going live. So follow the Twitter. But until next time, peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.